rise as you are willing and able to sing our opening hymn, number 361 in the gray hymnal. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
We bid you welcome. In this community of radical inclusion, we make space for what you believe and what you love. Your whole self is welcome here. In this community of open-hearted inclusion for all people, we do not expect you to think a certain way or restrict yourself to one set of beliefs. We only ask that you try to live a kindly and helpful life with dignity proper to a human being. Welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. We are grateful that you are here. I welcome you warmly to the Universalist Unitarian Church of Farmington. My name is Barb Eglinton. I'm your service leader this morning. My pronouns are she and her. And I'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors that are here today. After the service, we invite you to join us in our reception hall downstairs for coffee and conversation. We are having a brief meeting, though, so it might pull some people away. This morning, we're delighted to have our younger congregants join us for this multi-generational service. This is a time for us to be together in ritual and song, moving our bodies and celebrating the joys of this diverse community. Now, please take a moment to silence your phones, but don't turn them off. We encourage you to share that you are attending here on social media. And now for a few announcements. Last week, we had a brand new peace pole installed in the front of the building. You may have seen it when you came in. This was a gift from the Donegan family in honor of Hannah's niece, Belinda, who passed away in 2023. We want to give a big thank you to Jim Tedesco and others who helped install it. And after the service, we're going to go outside and stand in front of the peace pole for a brief dedication. So join us out there for that. And then after the group picture, we'll have an update on the coming change to a church technology. We're going to be taking a look at a church management system that will help us.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows after the dedication, we're going to turn around and take a group picture together. So
Be aware of that. Sorry.
it's okay.
Thank you. So after the group picture, we're going to take a look at a new church management system that will help us manage pledges, donations, organize volunteers, schedule events, and so much more. We hope that you will be able to take the time for this meeting to see what's possible with this new technology. And the book sale is next weekend. Right. Okay, the book sale is next weekend. Thank you for all your book donations, and don't forget to come next Friday and Saturday to look at what great reads you can add to your collection. And don't forget to bring cash. If you can help set up on Thursday or help with selling, contact Linda Brown or Liz Knight. October ends with our annual Treats on the Trail on October 27th. See Becca Seaton to sign up to help. We need people to host spots on the trail and parking lot spots. We also need candy donations. And on November 7th, the choir is going to be performing at Fox Run Senior Center, and you're invited to attend. Please see Diana Munch for more information. With your order of service, you got a flyer that has a lot of information about the upcoming auction, which is on November 7th. I'm sorry, no, 16th, November 16th. Excuse me. Think about what you want to donate, and any questions that you might have about the auction will be answered on that flyer. And finally, tonight at 7 o'clock is the last opportunity to send out postcards for Get Out the Vote. So join us in Adams Hall to send out this one last push for postcards to get people exercising their democratic right to vote. And see UUCF website and emails for other announcements. Now we are going to have our chalice lighting, and I encourage you to do these hand gestures with me during the chalice lighting. We are Universalist Unitarians who put love at the center of our lives. We light this candle today to remember that every voice is important, and it is your job to listen to everyone, including those not usually listened to. Thank you. Please join me in reciting our UUCF mission statement in your order of service. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Well, this is our first Sunday without our most recent. Is the mic not on? I'm getting a look. Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. All right. So this is our first Sunday where we're in between. Our last RE coordinator, she's left us September 22nd. We are in the process. So in the middle, we have Nathan Whitehead, who's going to be helping us out, at least with this Sunday. Hopefully he'll stick around to help us with our multi-gen services. I'm so grateful for his willingness to try things and be flexible and play. This is what we do, right? We experiment and play. And so we are beginning a brand new month, and for our multi-gen services, we have this thing called a Wonder Box. And so with this Wonder Box, we put images or things in it that help us think about what is our theme. And so before we get to our Wonder Box, I want to invite up anybody who feels like they're a child or young at heart of any ages. You're welcome to come up here or sit in the first pews. Come on up so you can see. And you can also maybe even be part of the story when we get to that.
Ooh.
People of all ages are welcome to come up.
And I like the stuffed friends.
Yes. Okay. So this month, our spiritual theme for the whole month, we're going to be talking about the practice of deep listening. Does anybody know? First, let's break that down. What does practice mean? Yes, what does it mean when we practice something?
It means you do something a lot to get better at it.
You do something a lot to get better at it. All I could think of this morning was the old joke that many of you probably know, so repeat it back to me. Maybe our young people haven't heard this yet. How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice, practice, practice.
Carnegie Hall is a famous performance place in New York City. You have to practice. So this month we are practicing deep listening, deep in our ears and our bodies listening. And so we have our Wonder Box to help us with that. So Nathan, what is in our Wonder Box?
Well, let's take a look here. And inside
So sometimes we have things and the actual thing, and sometimes we have an image of a thing. So does anybody know what this thing is? Yes.
It's a speaker.
It's a speaker. What else is
Yeah.
it? Matt?
Megaphone.
It's a megaphone. Great. Has anybody seen a megaphone? Yeah? Where might we see a megaphone? Why do people use a megaphone? I think Dexter? To enlarge their voice so that other people can hear them way out. So sometimes people use a megaphone, like if you've been to rallies or protests or other events where you know, like you want to make sure people far away from you can hear them, hear what you're saying. So then what is easier to hear? So the reason why we use this is so people can hear us. So what is easier to hear? Loud voices or quiet voices? Loud voices. And yes, that is true, that oftentimes the loud voices are the easiest to hear. That is true.
Yeah, but if just because a voice is loud, does that mean that it's the most important or the right voice to listen to?
No.
Oh.
Why is that? Any thoughts?
Yeah?
Because it's not what the world's supposed to be.
Ah, it's not what the world's supposed to be. Yes, that we get to hear many voices, not just the loudest voice. Just because
That's
someone
right.
has a megaphone doesn't necessarily mean that they're the only voice or the things that we should always be paying attention to. And so I wanted to tell you, do you want to say something now?
I think our reason it's not important to be loud is because sometimes when you're loud it can also.
Yeah, sometimes when you're loud, it can also hurt people. So
Right.
that's a really good point. Yes.
So
So
today let's explore how we and in practice how we can listen to those other voices that aren't as loud and are sometimes overlooked. You guys want to hear a story about that? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, maybe
can
you
do
can
that.
maybe you can even play along. And so towards that, we're going to give you a few tools, but we're going to tell you when to use them. Okay? Can you, if we give you things, will you hold on to them until we tell you when to use them?
And
Okay.
Not everybody's going to get them, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to select.
Okay. So Barbara's going to hand out some tools. So just hold on to them. Don't do anything with them until we tell you to. And this also requires responses from everybody out here, too. This is not just a story for young people. All people of all ages need to hear this story. All right? So let's explore our exploration of deep listening with a story. And this one is called The Cricket and the Coin.
All right. Once there were two friends. One was from the city and one was from the country. One day the two friends were walking down a busy and noisy street in the large city filled with people. And the sounds of the city were almost deafening. We need a lot of people to make noise. Can you guys make
Make
some
some noise, make some
That is
noise,
a loud
make some
city.
noise, make some noise, come on, make some noise. Okay.
But what's that? Oh, but what's that? Suddenly the country friend said, I hear a cricket.
The city friend said, what? You must be crazy. You couldn't possibly hear a cricket in all of this noise.
No, I'm
No?
sure of it.
No, okay.
Oh,
Go on.
No, I'm sure of it. Sorry. I heard a cricket. Despite all the noise that I cut you off from making.
The country friend listened carefully for a moment and then walked across the street to a big cement planter where some shrubs were growing, much like our little plants here. The city friend followed. They looked into the bushes beneath the branches, and sure enough, there was a small cricket.
This is a cricket.
In utter amazement, the city friend said, that's incredible. You must have superhuman ears.
Nope, not superhuman ears, no different than yours. It just depends on what you're listening for and what you're used to listening for.
The city friend replied, there is just no way. I could never hear a cricket in all this noise.
Make the noise.
Make the noise. Okay.
Oh, it's a loud city.
All right, okay.
Oh. Yeah, so loud.
Okay.
The country friend simply replied, "It just depends on what is really important to you. Here, let me show you." The country friend reached into his pocket, pulled out a few coins, and dropped them on the sidewalk. And we can pretend here.
So we're going to pretend that our bowl over here is the sidewalk. So make some noise. Let's
Make
see if
some
we can
noise,
hear
pretend it's nice
something.
and loud. And I'm going to drop some coins.
Okay. Even with all the noise of this crowded room and all that banging, who heard the sounds of the, yes, you can still hear it. Nearly every person within 20 feet in this story heard the sounds of the coins and they falling on the sidewalk, and they turned to look to see if that money was theirs that hit the sidewalk, right?
See what I mean? Said the country friend. It all just depends on what's important to you and what you're listening for.
Wow, does anybody have any memories of maybe hearing a sound like that on the sidewalk? And like, because our adult friends, they recognize that moment. So this is a great story about how we listen to what is important to us and what we are paying attention to. It can be super easy to get caught up in our busy lives, but when we slow down and pay attention, we are reminded that we are connected to the whole world and everything around us. In this story, the next page.
Where am I? I lost. Okay, kids. In this story, the city friend could not hear the cricket at first. Why do you think that is? He couldn't hear the little cricket. Because there was so much noise and he wasn't used to listening to it, maybe. Yeah? What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about when the country friend dropped the coins on the ground, knowing that people would turn around? Why do you think the country friend was so sure that people would hear the coins falling on the ground, even though they didn't hear the cricket? Yes.
It's because of what we're paying attention to. So a city friend, I have lived in both New York City and Chicago, and it is loud all the time. And I might not have heard coins being dropped on the ground because our brains are accustomed to hearing really loud sounds. But the country friend, they're used to paying attention to really small sounds. But together we learn about paying attention to things that are important to us. So if you're worried about losing some money, you might be paying attention to the sound of those coins, right?
That's right.
So do you think that kids or adults are better at noticing and appreciating and listening? What do you guys think? Hold on, I want to hear some more voices, because this is one of the things that we try to do here is hear from voices we haven't heard yet. Who hasn't spoken up that would like to? No, what do you think? Are kids or adults better at listening?
Probably kids.
Oh, probably kids, I hear.
Well, I'm a really good listener because I have to listen to a lot of things at school.
Okay, she's a good listener because she has to listen to a lot of things at school. So let us now practice. We're going to practice deep listening by listening to the joys and sorrows of our community. You are welcome to stay up here because then we're going to move on to another story. Oh, they can keep them. We're going to use them again later.
We're going to use them in just a minute.
Yes, you can hold on to your noisemakers, but you have to be quiet with them. Don't move them because this next part we really have to practice listening. So that means that we are quiet so we can hear others. So you're welcome to sit up here and people are going to come up and speak into the mics.
And then we'll make more noise later.
Yes, we're going to make more noise later, but for now we're going to practice being quiet.
We make space every Sunday for authentic and vulnerable sharing, which helps to build this congregation into a beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people in your heart in need of prayer, good energy, and best wishes, and other help. You're welcome to pick up a stone or stones from the table, infuse or change it with your sorrow or joy and place it in the singing bowl where its energy will ripple out to be held by all of us. If you'd like to verbally share something important on your heart, please come up and speak into the microphone, and we are all welcome to participate in these ways. Light 3 candles for the intentions that rest in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, one for the joys, one for the sorrows, and one for the strength of this gathered community that can support you and bring you peace. Please remain seated as we sing number 112 in the gray hymnal, Do You Hear?
To our next story, which we said does have some noise, I just want to ask us to hold. I have to say this is hard. I just have to say that because I lived in North Carolina for 10 years. And I don't know if you know, but there was a hurricane that hit the southern region, and it's been a very serious disaster. Mm-hmm. Yes, Hurricane Helene. At the same time, today is also the anniversary of the beginning of the Gaza-Israel war. It's also time for the Jewish high holidays. Many different things are happening right now, and we, as a community, we work to hold all of these joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, things in our hearts that we are directly affected by, things that are in our hearts that are affecting others that we know in other places. So I'm just going to ask everybody if you could just hold on to what you're doing just for 1 minute so we can all hold the space together. And we're just going to listen to our own hearts and what we hear outside. Can everybody please hold on to your things? Let's just hold on a moment of silence together. Thank you so much.
All right, kids. Hi. Many of you guys have been back to school for a while now, haven't you? And I bet all of you know kids that are very loud and talk all the time. And who love to be in the mix, who are super outgoing. People like this are referred to as extroverts. But that is only one way of being. There are also lots of people, kids, teens, and adults, who are much quieter. People who don't speak up as often and who don't love being in crowds of people. These folks are often referred to as introverts. And still there are lots of people who go back and forth between extrovert and introvert depending on how they feel and how comfortable they are and what people they are with, right? But the question is, how are we listening to those who are not quite as loud or who put themselves out there quite as much? How are we listening to the introverts? Our next game, it's a game, is going to focus in and listen. We're going to listen in on the quiet sounds, even in the mix of the loud ones.
Okay, so we are going to play this game 3 times. Once up here, once with an adult out there, and then come back again. And so what's going to happen is that we are going to have one person kind of in the middle. We're going to move our stands and have people surrounding them with your toys and people out there making noise. And we're going to use our chime, and we're going to be close to the person in the middle, and we're going to ask them, well, while all the noise is going on, we're going to ring the chime a few times. And we're going to ask them, because they have to pay attention, how many times did you hear the chime? Not just did you hear it, but how many times did you hear it? So, do we have a young person up here who is, wait a minute, hold on before you volunteer, who is a really good listener? All of you think you're a good listener, a really good listener? Okay, tell me your name again.
Holden.
Holden, okay. Holden, let's move our stands out of the way. Okay, Holden, I would actually want you to sit down, and then I want all our kids to come in a circle around Holden. Come on, but bring the drums there. Okay. Okay. Hold on, we're not starting yet. Okay, so Nathan has the chimes, and listen, when I tell you, when I say the word go, then all of you can make noise, and then Holden, you have to be listening very carefully, and then you'll have to tell us how many times can you hear the chime. Hold on. Yeah, you can do this. Yeah, hold on. What is your question?
Can't you see the...
Yeah, that's a good question. We hadn't thought of that. Okay, yes.
Even if we do have these, can we still make different noises?
Yes. You're not limited to the noisemaker in front of you. Okay, so Dexter, thank you for asking that important question. Okay, hold on, everybody. Hold on. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, go. Okay, stop.
It was 4 times.
Wow, good job. Okay, now, okay, I need everybody to stay up here where you are. And is there a brave adult out there who would like to be the listener? And we will ask the people around you. We're going to come to you. Would anybody out here like to practice? Okay, you want to be the one? Okay, then come here, stand here in the middle. Because I believe this is a multi-generational service. Truly,
You're gonna
multi-gen. So
listen.
we want all people of all ages to be able to participate.
And I'm going to hide over here so nobody can see.
Okay. Okay. Is everybody ready, including the adults, to
Everybody
make
make some
noise? Okay, go. Okay, stop. All right.
Woo! Nice job, 5 times.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay. We want one more. One more time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I would like you to be in the middle. It's your turn. Okay. All right. Hold on. We're going to practice this one more time now. Nathan,
Yes.
people have been caught on really quickly. So, well, how are your ears? Are you going to be able to hear everything? All right. Let's give this another try. But I love this experiment because people are hearing these sounds. Okay. Is everybody ready?
Yes,
Go. Okay, no. Okay, that's it. No. That's it. Stop. I should have said no screaming. I can't tolerate the screaming. Okay. Were you able to?
I can hear no ding.
Okay, Nathan, were you able to chime?
I was chiming. yes.
Okay. How many times did you hear a chime?
I said I heard no ding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? Okay. I'm really sorry. I apologize. This is my fault. I should have said no screaming. That was not fair. It's really, screaming is a very traumatic thing. So we can make noise, but no screaming. Are you okay? No. I'm really sorry. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Jesse's coming.
People got a little bit carried away.
Yeah. Okay.
See, sometimes the
Okay.
people with the megaphone are too loud.
I apologize for that. I'm sorry, Colin.
Apologize. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. Yeah, that we should have been clear on what kind of noise was okay, and that screaming is it's a very traumatic experience especially if you've someone who has experienced trauma in other situations, then that can be very hard. Even I was having a traumatic response to the screaming. So, but we will try one more time. So, okay. Yes, no screaming. Okay. Yes. All right, you can come sit in the middle. Okay, we're going to limit the sounds to just on the drums or on the floor, okay? Is everybody ready? Is everybody ready? No screaming, okay?
All right.
All right, go. All right, stop.
It was 3 times.
3 times.
Yes.
Good
Good
job.
ears.
Okay. Thank you. Now, thank you so much for playing. So what do you think that might help us learn or practice on our deep listening? Yes?
Not to make too loud noises.
Ah, that's a great lesson. Not to make too loud of noises, because that goes back to our megaphone, right?
Or
Yes.
not make too quiet.
Or not to make too quiet of noises. There's a balance in there, right? Yes.
Don't make screaming voices.
Yeah, don't make screaming noises. That's really hard. I want to make sure because there are people here who have not had a chance to say anything, right? So would anybody else like to say anything? No? Are there other ways we can maybe practice deep listening? Well, I want you to think on that. Yes, Dexter? Meditation is a great way to practice deep listening, yes. And that's something that we practice at, right? Okay. So I want everybody to return your noisemakers back to Barb. All the noisemakers go back. And you can go take your seat again. Thank you. We can do some of the questions.
Oops. Where are we? Yeah. Was it hard to hear the bell in all that noise? Yeah. Do you think it's harder for introverts to be heard? Those smaller voices? Yeah. What could the group have done to make it easier for the person in the middle to hear the bells?
Been quieter.
Yes.
Listen more. So it's on both sides, right? So there people who are making noise, if it's their intention for the other person to hear, then they have to also practice being quiet. Deep listening comes from both sides, right? So we have to be paying attention and be opening.
That's right. And how could we help people who are not as loud as us? I'm a talkative guy. How can you help people who are not as talkative or not as loud? Yes?
We can listen and help people while we speak. So that's, yes, Mary?
If you're noticing that someone who's quiet and tends to be quiet is trying to say something, you can use your extrovert voice to be like, hey, everyone be quiet, they're trying to talk.
Yeah, so so I'm repeating things because I want to make sure people who are using our headsets can hear them. But Mary was just saying if we those of us who are sometimes extroverts, it's funny, like truly I'm actually an introvert, but I can turn it on to do this. But if you are somebody who is an extrovert in a situation with people that you see aren't able to speak, or I've been in situations, thankfully, with people who notice I'm trying to speak and they see all these other people speaking up before I get a chance, then they'll say, wait a minute, we want to hear. So it takes intention from the other person to actually make that happen, right? So we want to thank you so much for playing along and trying some experimental things that we did, because sometimes practice means doing something physically with ourselves and actually trying something that may be a little uncomfortable. And I'm sure for many of our adults it was hard to hear all the noises, because sometimes people they want quiet. That's not always how a Sunday is going to be. So thank you so much for doing that. I wanted to also lift up that one of the things that we really practice here is trying to give the megaphone to other people. And so we try where we can throughout the year to give the megaphone, give a platform, almost literally, to speakers from other cultures and experiences from our own, because we know we can't speak for everybody or tell someone else's story. And so the next 2 Sundays in particular, we are really going to be diving into that. We have a speaker from Mushin who is an indigenous speaker, and she is going to come tell her story. And then the Sunday after that, we have a trans person and a friend of theirs who is a parent of a trans person come to tell their story. So we encourage you to come hear these stories of people and their lives. Keep your ears open to what you don't know, because a lot of times, we humans, specifically me as a white person, have been told that our stories are the most important, but they are not. This is not the only life experience in the world. So I encourage you to please come to listen to those stories. So today we've used the metaphors of a megaphone, and we also use the chime. To me, it's so fascinating how a chime can be just as loud as the megaphone. When people hear the chime, even though that's like a small noise, it's a very small thing, everybody can hear that as well. And they're used for different purposes. Sometimes listening is loud, is like when you need it to be, like you need to hear the sirens if a tornado is coming. You need it to be loud. And sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes listening means listening to what somebody's not saying. Sometimes we're listening to what they're not responding back to us, or their body language, or maybe the way they might move closer to us or further away. That helps us also to think on, how am I listening to what is being said and not said? Because not everything, we don't want to always put the onus on somebody else to come like tell us their thing. We have to be paying attention as well and make sure we ourselves are actually making the effort to listen to others so that they can be heard. Deep listening means knowing when to keep our own mouth shut and our ears open. It means we notice to our desire to jump in, because in our culture we've been told that listening means Nathan telling me a story and me jumping in and going, that happened exactly to me, without me saying, oh, well, tell me more about that, or what was the rest of that interaction? Now, if I do that, then I've made the story, Nathan's story, about his life, about me. That's not really listening. It may be in that moment building a part of a relationship, but Nathan may be needing to tell me something, and it may have more on his heart that I'm aware of, but now I don't know, because I've shut off the conversation. Mm-hmm. And so it takes a lot of retraining our brains, because we've been told forever that listening is one thing. But really, if we want a deeper relationship, then we slow down our brains and slow down our mouths before we start speaking. And so when Nathan and I were talking about this service, then he told me about an experience that he's been doing in his work life to practice deep listening to people who are different from himself. Would you like to tell us about that?
Sure. So I work for a large company, thousands of employees, over a couple dozen offices scattered throughout North America. And to bring people together, our company in the last year started these employee affinity groups, where people, they meet once a month remotely, modern technology, so that different veterans within the company can get together to support and talk about themselves. And different groups, from LGBT and ally group, there's a women's inclusion network, there's a black professionals, there's neurodiversity, there's a variety of groups, right? But I'm a middle-aged white dude. Not too many groups for us, because we've got our own. We're everywhere. So I wanted to hear those perspectives from other people, and become a better manager in my work life and a better human in general. So I joined the Pride group, because they said right at the beginning, LGBT and allies, and I'm like, I'm in. But the other one, I wasn't so sure about, and so I went to the sponsor. It's the Women's Inclusion Network. And I'm like, can I join? I'm like, I just want to listen. I want to, because it was a group, they meet, it's support groups, they talk about mentors and what they've learned and what it's like being a woman I'm in the transportation trucking industry. It's a male, historically, thing. Anyways, I want to hear their perspectives, and they have guest speakers come in, and I'm telling you, once a month I attend this meeting, I get all fired up. I keep my mouth shut, almost entirely, some book recommendations, but I'm just there to listen and to hear those other people's perspectives, and to get, hear a perspective that's not mine. So whether you're here in church and we have these great speakers coming up, or in your personal life, it doesn't take much, but just find an opportunity to listen to people who are different than yourselves. That's what I try to do.
And so when Nathan was telling me about this, what struck me was, I think it takes both courage and vulnerability to be able to say, this is an area and groups of people that I don't know their personal story, and that he, especially with the Women's Inclusion Network, that he did the first step of asking, can I attend? Like, he asked permission. Like, he didn't just randomly show up, because you can imagine the immediate walls that would have come up of people going, what are you doing here? And so he made the effort to ask permission, and then when he shows up, then he spends the majority of the time listening. Because these are life experiences that he doesn't have. And as Nathan said, that listening helps him to be a better manager and a better human. Aren't we all trying to be better humans in this world? Because I don't know about you, sometimes being a human is a really hard thing.
It's hard.
It's hard. Being a grown-up is just like the hardest thing ever. But we have to like keep working at this being a grown-up. But it requires this practice of slowing down, listening to other people's life perspectives that we might not have. And so I encourage you, especially as our month goes forward, to keep listening, practice listening as much as you possibly can, whether you need to use the megaphone yourself or hand it to somebody else, whether you're somebody who needs to listen to or for something, like I think about the coins that dropped. Listen, pay attention to what you're paying attention to, because that also helps you to think about what are your priorities. And sometimes that might surprise you. Like all of a sudden you realize you're paying attention to something that maybe is not the thing that you care about the most or the thing you tell yourself you don't. But now you realize, oh wow, I'm giving this thing more importance than I need to. Pay attention, respond to your own self. We will continue building these relationships and growing together through the practice of deep listening. Thank you so much for all of your attention today and to our children as we continue to learn and grow together. Thank you, Nathan. And now Barb is going to share our offering.
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We're so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. Let us join together in saying our offering dedication. To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings. Our final hymn is number 298. Please rise as you are willing and able to sing, "Wake Now My Senses."
We're going to sing just the first 3 verses. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all.
Our closing words will be the same as our chalice lighting. Again, please do the hand gestures with me. We are Unitarian Universalists who put our love at the center of our lives. As we go out into the world, make sure that we use our ears, our eyes, and our hearts to listen and include everyone.
One second. I just want to make sure I turn this off. For our traveling music, this is our traveling music on the multi-gen service Sundays. We're going to be walking out. So Diana, if you want to go ahead and play.